Hello, and welcome back, my lovely Lovecraftian, to another tale in Borrasca, dedicated to our Cthulhu devotee, Kami Kazali, also known in the server as Kimchi. Please feel free to check out the Discord for more audiobooks and streams. In the meantime, get cozy, because we are finishing book 2 tonight. I made a U-turn, and started back towards town. Hey, why are we doing this? I'd known the question was coming. I'd hoped to have more answers myself. Before I had to give him one. Just Whitney was all I could say. Kyle didn't ask anything more. The Historic Preservation Society of Drisking was at the back of the building, and we had to walk through the antique shop as the owner, Mr. Dranger, eyed us waringly. At the end of a short hallway, we found a small room with 2 desks pushed together. One was empty, and the other was stacked high with books and folders of loose paper. We could hear someone typing behind the stacks. I cleared my throat. Hello? A small woman popped up from behind the desk. I recognized her as the same woman who had given us a lecture in 5th grade. Hello? How can I help you, boys? She asked, walking out to greet us. Yeah, I have a few questions about Drisking's history, I guess. Oh, great. Is this for an end-of-year report? Have a seat, boys. She gestured to the empty chair sitting behind the other desk. I nodded at Kyle, and he sat down, looking uneasy. Yeah, it's for an essay we have to write. Hey, I think you gave us a lecture to us like 7 years ago at school. Oh, yes. I give a lecture every year with Mr. Prescott. She smiled. Yeah, it was you and one other guy, too. A bald guy. Kyle said, shifting uncomfortably in the wooden chair. Yes, that was my fiancé, Wyatt Dowling. He passed several years ago. Oh, Kyle said. So, Miss Scallon, but you can call me Catherine, she said. Catherine, I tried. I hated calling adults by their first name. We wanted to know about the McCaskey kids. Oh, Catherine said, shaking her head. A dark part of history there, but still history, nonetheless. Yeah, so when did that, happen? And how did they die? Kyle added. Well, they didn't die. I mean, they certainly perished in the mines, but their bodies were never recovered. So we don't know the answer to that. I would think dehydration, starvation, and exhaustion killed them within days of getting lost down there. And to your second question, well, that was 1953, I believe. And the mines closed that year? Well, actually, the mines officially closed the year after. There was a legal spat between the city and the Prescott family, who wanted to leave the mines open until the bodies were found. The city won, and the mines were condemned. Wait, why did the Prescotts care? Don't you want to write this down? Catherine asked. Kyle tapped his head twice with his finger. Catherine shrugged and continued. Well, the Prescotts and the McCaskey family were closely related. Tom Prescott was paying teams of unemployed miners to go down in the mines and search for the bodies. The city had enough of it. The mountain was unstable, and they didn't want any more deaths. The mines had been abandoned years before, and were structurally unsafe. After the city banned the recovery teams from the mines, members of the Prescott family started going down there themselves. Finally, the city had enough, and they had the mines collapsed. With bombs? Kyle asked. Well, with explosives. And that's what led to the incident. By the time the mines had been unprofitable for a few years and the city was quite broke, they hired a less than reputable company to collapse the mines, and well, when they set off the explosives, they accidentally broke into Drisking's water table. The city went into debt trying to purify the water of silt and iron ore. It wasn't until 2 years later that things started getting better, thanks to the Prescotts, who truly did revitalize Drisking. Kyle's phone chirped and he pulled it out of his pocket. It's Kimber. She wants us to come over. Okay, thanks, Miss Catherine. Sure. If you have any other questions, feel free to come by. We've almost always are open during the day. Oh, or you can email me. She dug into her jacket and pulled out a loose business card. It was creased and had a dusty smudge on it. Thanks. So, what do you think? Kyle asked when we got in the car. I don't know. It's weird, isn't it? I mean, why would the Prescotts give a shit if the town suffered after they refused to help him find their family? Or actively working against them? Maybe they forgave and forgot, Kyle shrugged. Does Jimmy Prescott seem like a guy to forgive and forget to you? No. And his dad is even worse. Exactly. Maybe we should... Turn here! Sorry, Kimber's still babysitting and she's over on Amherst. When we pulled up, Kimber was out in the front yard with 2 young boys who were playing in the driveway. She was holding a sleeping baby and waving to us. We parked in the driveway, and she introduced us to the 2 older kids. They gave us shy hellos and ran off to continue their game. Once they'd left, we explained everything that happened to Kimber while she listened and rocked the baby in her arms. Sam is right. That doesn't make sense. But why are we even concerned about something that happened decades ago? Whitney, Kyle said so I didn't have to. A flash of surprise crossed Kimber's face as she walked over to put the baby down in his playpen. Then she walked back and pulled me into one of her famous, super comforting, not at all awkward hugs. When she released me, she began to pace around the driveway. Okay, so we think Whitney somehow got involved in all this, and you're right. If we want to figure this out, we need to start at the beginning. Bill is right. Every mystery in this town is one piece of a larger puzzle. It's all related. She stopped and looked over at us. We need to go to the source if we want the answers. Yeah, that's not a bad idea, Kyle agreed. I know he likes to hang out in the hideaway and get drunk with ex-Sheriff Cleary. No, Kyle, not Jimmy. His dad. Tom? He's so crazy they put him in a home. He's the horse's mouth, though, isn't he, Jimmy? Isn't likely to know half as much as his dad, but as Kyle and Kimber argued, I watched the kids chase each other around the tree in the front yard. There seemed to be something carved into the bark, words, not unlike the triple tree at Ambercott Fort. I was too far away to read what it said. He got you, I heard the youngest one call to his brother. The skin man got you. Now you have to die. Nuh-uh, Peter. I was touching the tree. No, you weren't. You're a liar. One of them got you, and now you have to meet the shiny gentleman. No, I don't. Kimber. Josh is cheating. I shuddered and turned away from them. Where's the nut house? I interrupted them. Is it close? It's not a nut house. It's more like a hospice, Kimber chimed. The rumor behind it all is I've heard that he's at the Golden Elm. And that's in Cape Girardeau. That's about 40 minutes away, Kyle said, and pulled out his phone. I'll check the visiting hours for Tuesday, Sam. Do you work tomorrow? I work every day, but I'll get out of it. I promise. Okay, cool. Let's plan to leave after school. The following day dragged on like any last Tuesday of the school year. Most people talked about what they did with their ditch day or complained about a cop showing up at their house to issue them a ticket while sliding less than pleased looks at me. When the final bell rang at 3:30, I grabbed my bag and booked it out to my car. Kyle and Kimber were already waiting for me. The drive took longer than expected when I got lost in Cape Girardeau. The town was bigger than Drisking, and the streets weren't laid out with any sort of planning or logic. By the time we arrived at Golden Elm, we only had 20 minutes left for visiting hours. We're here to see Mr. Thomas Prescott, Kimber told the nurse at the front desk. We let her do the talking since she had a disarming, old-fashioned charm about her that put people in a friendly mood. Old Tom, wow, he hasn't had a visitor since Christmas, when his son came up. Sign the check-in sheet and take a visitor sticker. Your family, then? Do you know where his room is? The nurse arched a thin, suspicious eyebrow. I'm sorry, we don't, Kimber apologized. My mother has been asking me to check in on my great-uncle while she's away doing Doctors Without Borders. I should have got more information from her, but you know, she only has so many minutes to call home. Oh, of course, dear. Let me get someone to escort you. An orderly led us to Tom Prescott's room, which we found empty. He pointed down the hall and said, He likes to read in the sunroom. We walked down the hall and found an old thin man sitting alone and whispering to himself. He was sitting at a table in front of a bacoma board, moving chess pieces around it. Tom Prescott, Kimber said, smiling. He didn't look up, and I wondered if he heard her at all. Kimber took a deep breath. Try again. But the old man suddenly slammed his fist on the table. I'm him, goddammit. I'm Mr. Thomas Prescott. Don't call me Tom. People's kids used to have more respect. I'm sorry, sir, Kimber said gently as she sat down in the chair opposite of him. You kids have no respect. Do you even know who I am? It's the son. My son. That's done it. That boy's mama should have whipped him, but she was soft. And now he's running around my town, spreading his vulgarity and disrespect. Our apologies, Mr. Prescott. He never meant to be disrespectful. We greatly admire you. You're the man who built our town into what it is today. Everybody remembers that. Drisking was suffering. The town was dying. And then you fixed it. We know that. I did what I had to do. The old man grumbled. It was my town. It still is. Who are you, little girl, to come in here and suggest otherwise? No, that's not what I said. Kimber changed tactics. And as for who we are, we're mere McCaskey's kids. Do you remember the McCaskeys? So, you're Adia's granddaughter. That explains why you're not there. We exchanged puzzled looks. We're right here, Mr. Prescott, Kimber said. You know what I meant, young lady. They all know. They know I rescued the town. That's my town. Of course they were. They were gonna let me do anything I wanted as long as the money kept coming in. That's why it's my town. Is the money still coming in? Kimber tested. Well, you're here, aren't you? They didn't like it, but they took the money. They didn't know. Not everything. They didn't. But they suspected some. And they must have been okay with it because they kept electing Clary and they kept taking the money. Prescott picked up a pawn and ran his finger over it as he talked. It's just a powder, you know, so unassuming. A fine, soft powder. The powder doesn't know what it is. It doesn't know it's bad. It's the people who say it's bad. But it needed to be done, you know that, Ida. You know we had to do it. Kimber hooked him in. I know. We had to do it. But it's your son. I don't think he's doing it right. Well, of course he isn't. The elderly Prescott slammed his fist on the table. Again, and two rooks tumbled to the floor. They were mine. He took them from me. He thought he could do it better. But he took mine, and he ruined my legacy, decades of work, and now it's all run by the powder. It's the dust of a crumbled empire. What about the skin men? I asked, caught up in the moment. What are you talking about, boy? He growled. And the treehouse, the triple tree. What is it? What is it for? Triple tree? I didn't authorize that. We paid triple in the price. It was only for a short while, when things were slow. We certainly never charged triple. That's bad business. Where is Has my idiot boy been telling you that? Did he offer you triple for them? He's ruining my town, isn't he? God damn it, Jimmy. You get him in here. Ida, get my boy on the phone. You tell Jimmy I want to talk to him. You tell him they're still mine. Ida, get Jimmy on the phone. Kimber jumped up and Kyle pushed her behind him as the old man rose to his feet, tall and imposing. We were backing towards the door. And then, the look of his disapproving face of an orderly as he shooed us out. Long after we'd made it to the lobby, we could still hear Tom Prescott yelling for his son. The ride home was quiet. I spent it trying to fit the pieces of the puzzle together. The skin men, the triple tree, the shiny gentleman, the powder. These things seem to have been pulling blindly from the ether. Random and meaningless. The veil over my eyes was thick and heavy, but I was closer to Borrasca than I've ever been before. I could feel it all around me, but I couldn't see it. I could almost touch it, but I couldn't yet comprehend it. I suddenly realized that Kyle was pulling over off the road, and I stepped out of my contemplation. He put the car in park and turned around to look at me in the back seat. Is this really about Whitney, Sam? Yes. Kimber watched us with worried eyes. Why do you think that? The cops, even your father confirmed Whitney ran away. I don't believe them, I said through clenched teeth. Look, Sam, we're getting pretty deep in here, and I'm with you every step, but I have to know that there's a reason why we're doing this, and pulling Kimber into... I have to know this is important to you for the right reasons and not just an obsession. I looked out the window and realized he pulled over near the West Rim Prescott or Trailhead. He was right to worry, and even more so to be protective of Kimber. Kyle was thinking it, and so was I. The powder. If Borrasca really did involve moving mass amounts of drugs, did I want to involve my friends any further? This wasn't their fight. I loved these people. Could I really risk their safety for my own curiosities and vendettas? But as hard as I wished, I could not let them go. I know I needed them. I have to know what's really happened to Whitney, I whispered. Kyle turned back around without a word, and Kimber placed her hand on mine. I jerked my hand away and crossed my arms, and then immediately apologized. Kimber just smiled in a forgiving sort of way. Kyle sighed. Sam. He was interrupted by the piercing ring of Kimber's phone. She scrambled for her cell to silence it, but when she saw the name on the screen, she quickly answered. Dad? What? Wait. What do you mean, Dad? No, wait, slow down. Hello? She took the phone away from her ear. Something happened to my mom. She's at the hospital. Tears flooded Kimber's soft green eyes. Kyle threw the car in gear and screeched off the parking lot. We made it the 10-mile trip to the hospital in as many minutes, which was criminally fast on surface streets. Kyle stopped the car at the emergency entrance, and Kimber and I ran inside. A deputy was there waiting. He refused to answer Kimber's desperate questions as he led us to her father. When the deputy swung open the doors, I saw my dad standing next to Kimber, and I braced myself for the worst. Kimber's dad took her in one direction, and my dad took me in the other. Before he said a word, I saw Kimber's entire world crumble to the floor, along with her body. On the other side of the room, I looked at my dad helplessly, and he gave me a sympathetic nod and pulled me into a hug. We sat down in a corner. He stared at my hands as he quietly explained that Kimber's mom, Mrs. DeAstro, had gone grocery shopping, and at 1 o'clock, come home, put the groceries away, made 2 lasagnas and meatloaf. Far too much food for one day, and put them in the freezer. Then she got in her car, drove to the hospital, parked in the shade as not to be a bother, and took the stairs up 7 floors to the roof, and jumped off of it. She lived just long enough to apologize to the MT who found her. I watched Kimber fall apart as her mother's body slowly grew colder in the morgue, just 1 floor beneath us. Such concludes Book 2 of Borrasca. Well, things truly are getting more intense and taking darker turns. I hope that my dear readers have not been too terrified, and the lovely Lovecraftian will send love to Kimber's poor mom. As we continue through the story, we will only lose more, I fear. Be it sanity, be it beloved characters, or be it our own wording as we step foot into Borrasca. With the powder being a substance, this is getting more real, more humanistic than it is otherworldly. Whitney could have went missing for more reasons than what we want to think. With things like human trafficking, which was already a suspicion underneath my belt, as well as drug trades and cartels handled by a town who suspiciously got its wealth back. These strings are starting to come together on this bulletin board of mystery. But sadly, some loose ends will have to be tied up. I believe, even though Kimber's mom was depressed, that it might have been for more reasons than we are led on to believe. Could Kimber's mom somehow be tied into the disappearance of Whitney? I mean, the children and families are close. I'm sure they've had family dinners or get-togethers, so it's not too far-fetched to believe that Kimber's mom might be more depressed due to something that might have bent the very reality that she lived in. The mindset of a loving mother still can be crippled by the darkest of horrors. It touched my heart that even though she was in such a negative mind state, she made sure that her family would have food for at least a week while they mourned her death, and that she stayed conscious just long enough to apologize for taking this route. Please know, my beloved viewers, that suicide is a permanent solution to temporary problems, and there is plenty of areas where you can reach out for help. And even though this creepypasta has dark themes, reality bleeds into our horrors sometimes. It envelops our dreams, and it tugs at our heartstrings. And though this was a dark read, I felt it necessary and still found enjoyment in it, because the harshest realities and the darkest horrors are the ones we face every day when we wake up. So, as always, my lovely Lovecraftians, do you have any theories, comments, or concerns? Please leave them behind or below with me. Today, that is all. Until next time, goodbye.